in Springfield, Missouri,
Sure.
as well as around the world. And so, like I said, I think it's something you guys can definitely relate to.
So we're still getting leather.
That's a plus.
We're buying leather, and in some cases it's really weird because in some places in the world the prices to us are dropping. In other places in the world the prices are going up. Availability is becoming less and less for some, and it's becoming more and more for others. So it's kind of a stay on your toes type of thing and watch for what you can and do the best you can with what you got. Hopefully you're able to do that too with the products that you make and the businesses that you have and hobbies that you have. I was hoping this year, Rusty, I think the leather world, the leather business world is down a little bit, just kind of across the board. It's from the feeling I get, and I understand that. But I think one of the things I was hoping we could focus on for the upcoming year was perhaps our ability to get the idea of doing leathercraft into the hands of kids today.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe rather than spending all their time on their Xbox or their game thing, whatever they do
Phones,
with all
yeah.
that stuff. And I thought some parents and some aunts and uncles and grandpas and grandmas would surely appreciate to see some of their grandkids and nephews and nieces be doing something constructive, and perhaps even with a slant towards learning something about business as they go along the way.
Yeah.
So I was hoping maybe we could get something off the ground this year that would make it possible for everyone to do that.
Well, I'll share a little anecdote real quick. My daughter and my girlfriend's daughter are both the same age, and so the other day they were in my office, working with some leather and doing some stamping, making bookmarks and stuff, and together they decided, they were like, Dad, we want to make a business. And I said, you do? She's like, yeah, I want to start selling bookmarks, making these, as stamps. And I was watching them work, and I think there's just something so intrinsic about kids smacking stuff with a hammer, or kids, finding something, painting a piece of leather, or just doing something creative. I think
Well, that's funny since you mention it, because your daughter, she slopped a bunch of paint on a piece of leather or something for me, a year ago?
That canvas, yeah.
Yeah. And it was actually, I'm quite sure it was by accident, but it came out looking really pretty. It was one of those things that I guess you would deem as eclectic or modern art or something like that, but I liked it so much I hung it up over my desk, and it's still there. It reminded me of my daughter, when Molly, the one that used to work here years ago, when we were doing leather work out of our house. We asked Molly and some of her friends to braid mystery braid lace bracelets for 10 cents a piece, and we sold them to Silver Dollar City for like 50 cents. Well, that kind of clicked for Molly, and as she got older, she realized there was more things she could do. She made little hair barrette things out of leather, and she did this and that out of leather, and she tried stamping. Stamping wasn't her thing, but she could make things, and that worked out. Eventually she came to work here, started our bead department for the most part. Her and I worked together. The rock department kind of got off and going, and it's things like that then they moved away, and her husband ran their own leather business for a number of years until they went on to different things. And I think there's a lot of kids out there that would benefit from that. If Grandpa was able to buy them a little $20, $30, $50 starter set and something that they could do. I don't know. I think we might focus a little bit on that this year.
Good. Yeah, I think there's, especially with the kids nowadays, it's certainly, I would say leather is could be more expensive than video games and phones and doing all that stuff, but it's more rewarding, and it's
It depends on how you count the cost.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the cost is that the skills and the entrepreneurial spirit is being nurtured and being given. So I think Yeah, it's definitely.
You know, I didn't intend to get off on a rant here,
Oh.
but I think Rusty mentioned, you know, the world is increasingly becoming an unfriendly place. And I think today's kids don't have enough positive or exposure to positive things rather than the video games. And I think that could be our little contribution maybe this year to start encouraging some thought from our kids rather than just competitive punch the button faster than the next kid.
Sure, and it's one of those things. We have a young gentleman that comes in. I think him and his mom come in a lot. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But he's what, probably 14, 15?
Yeah, they were here yesterday.
Yeah, and he started doing, you know, really branching out. And I think he just bought his first machine, and he's really, you know, taking it full on. But we have kids come in there all the time that are just, you know, with mom or dad or just trying to find a new hobby or something. And you know, that's the thing that really kind of gets me going in the morning when somebody comes in and, you know, they're like, my son wants to make me a belt or make me something like that, and you nurture that, and I think that is a really good thing to focus on in 2025.
Well, we'll work on it. What else is going on?
Oh, there's a whole lot. We don't have to talk about a roof anymore.
No, we're not talking about
We're
the
not?
roof. No.
Okay.
No. Not even after this video. Not.
Yeah, that's gone.
Hey,
2025.
you will be happy though. I finally did. I was happy. I don't know if you're gonna happy or not, but you know, I hadn't caught at night with the new sign lit up, and so I finally got to catch that the other night. I was driving by, and I'm like, man, that looks really good.
That's a sharp
Well, I
looking
sent you a
sign.
text, 2 weeks ago I had stayed late. It was almost
Yeah.
like, it may have been the live shopping night. I was like, do we not have lights on our sign?
Yeah.
And I pulled in this morning, it was still dark, and I was like, dang, that looks cool. And in fact, the blue oval behind it is very reminiscent to this one. It's
Yes,
got the blue
it's
glow
back.
behind it.
It's backlit.
Alright,
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have the timer set up right, and so
Yeah.
but yeah, the blue oval. I went all
Backlit.
out, man. You guys had a good idea there, so
Yeah.
we put the halo light around it.
Yeah, that was a big part of this year, was getting that out of the way, and now we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, stop.
No, 25, I think Kevin is really on the track for what we're planning. You know, we'd like to see ourselves make a increased push this year at education. Education for you, education for, you know, your children, if that's the case. You know, there's a lot of homeschooling, especially
That's
after
a big
COVID.
area.
You know, we'd like to take the opportunity to get involved where we can in helping in those communities. And I think that Lefty and I were talking earlier before this video. We're going to circle back to some of the how to use our tools, how
Yeah.
to apply these things, kind of get back to the basics, and go back and bring those videos
Well, at least
into this.
revisit them for a while,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's something that's pretty well needed, I think.
Well, and it's going to give us the opportunity to take those videos and use them and put them into format to where a person would be able to utilize them in a situation where maybe they buy a tool and that code's on the back. They can scan that and it takes them to an insert of the video.
Sure.
You know,
that would show them how to use that.
To your point, Rusty, I remember when I first moved here to Springfield, Missouri, there was the inkling or small beginning of a leather guild. And I remember the people that were a part of that guild very well. And they had their meetings, and basically over a period of time, it got down to where who was using whose tools and how this tool it cost a whole lot of money, but it was a really good tool and it worked well and everything else. And I felt kind of bad because I didn't use those expensive things. I just did my leather work with the stuff that I bought from the local leather store when I was younger. I could tool leather just as good as any of those guys. And I think today we've seen things kind of go back to the point where you've got to have this certain brand of stamping tools, or I only use this certain brand of knife, or I only use that certain brand of this or that or the other thing. And that's fine. If you got the money and can afford that and want to do it, more power to you. But I think maybe that attitude's kind of created a little bit of, what's the word? I don't know. A sense of a class of people.
Okay.
And I don't want to do that.
Like pretentious type of like I only use Phoebe or I only use this or that. Or
Yeah,
the other thing. I don't want to use anything else.
So anyway, I think I've been talking with Denny, and we're gonna kind of slant our and our presentations to maybe address some of that. This last little tooling session that we had, you know, Denny's using tools that he's had for years, and he can afford to buy a Barry King tool every once in a while, which he does once or twice a year. Just
No, that's how we pay Denny.
Ah.
We pick the Barry King tools up at Sheridan, and then we bring them back and we feed Denny for another 6 months.
yeah, but it's only like a couple of tools, and you know, I'm back there when he's tooling. He doesn't use those all the time. Sometimes he gets that old stupid tool that he got in a set from somebody that gave him those things, and
Or that he made himself.
yeah. And it's the same with me. My swivel knife is an old piece of crap, but it turns like crazy, and the blade is sharp and it cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not one of those brands that costs $125 for the knife, but
So if I was to guess, what I'm hearing is that you would like to focus on value on the product and value on what people are buying and getting, and the value of the time from the education aspect of it for
well, that's it.
2025.
I want to combine the education with the value and the common sense, because I don't know, I'm sure you've noticed that, again, in addition to the world becoming a place where it's not as friendly as it was in the past, there's also a lot less common sense out there. And I am certainly not the master of common sense, and I'm not a professor of it either. But there is something to be said.
So
for
are you
using common
saying
sense.
are you saying that leatherworking is the cure to the common sense problem?
Oh, it might help.
Well, as you can see, we've got plenty planned.
Yeah.
Our biggest thing is to thank you for the year that we've had, and hopefully anything that we can do to make next year better. We
Don't
certainly
forget to
want
ask
do
for
that.
ideas, because we could sure use some of those.
We're always in the market for ideas.
Yeah.
I think Lefty's been talking about trying to get some more shopping experiences into customers' hands and accessibility to what we have here in the store. So like I said, there's just a whole bunch of things. We'd have Liz here, but unfortunately, like about 30% of the people that I know are under the weather in one degree or another. Thanks
Yep.
for the everybody in the room's kind of.
He coughs as you say that.
My bad.
So anyway, again, we wanted to say thank you. We hope that you have a great holiday.
We had a question about the catalog.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to wrap up. No, kidding. Catalog's on the horizon. You know, with the changes that we've made internally with our pricing structures, it slowed us down considerably. But I really think that the value is there for you, because we're trying to build in the rewards program that we're releasing. Sneak peek if I hadn't already said that. So we've got a rewards program that we're building into that catalog. We also have a change in our pricing structures that we're building into that catalog. So we decided that the first of the year would be the best.
Yep.
As well as you will be seeing a new website in 2025. And so, like I said, there's plenty to look forward to. Again, we want to thank you for everything and thank you for a good year, and we look forward to the next to come.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, it was short and sweet. So we'll thank you all for a great 2024, and we'll see you next month.
We're off.
2025.
Even next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
See
Take
ya.
care.
Bye-bye.